That intro gets me pumped up every time. Just got to say it, guys. Welcoming everybody in to 4th and 4 Week 10 edition, the Belly Up Sports pregame show hosted by Zach Kyleman, Kelcey Coyne, and DJ Stewart. Two podcasts that are, well, taking this thing and running with it as we may. And we've been getting better.
Well, I don't know how much, hold on. I don't know how much running I'm doing with this anything, but.
Well, okay, there's figurative running and then there's also physical running.
So we got one running, one jogging, one wheelchairing.
I will mentally run with you guys.
You'll be on the electric scooters behind us.
Physically, I'll be driving.
Physically, I'll be driving.
You'll be on the electric scooter alongside. Like, get running, you guys. Quit slowing us up.
He's the trainer, you know.
I'm the Rocky Balboa in the first Apollo movie, or in the first Creed movie.
That's right.
Where he's just driving the car.
That's right. Welcome everybody in though to 4th and 4. It's week 10, guys. We're way over halfway in the point of the season at this point. Got plenty of topics that really have dropped this week that we gotta hopefully fill in for our first quarter. We'll see. I mean, you never know. We can always readjust, but let's jump into this, guys. First quarter, big topics of the week. Plenty of stuff to touch on, but we'll go on with the items that are prevalent to right now as of this afternoon. Ben Roethlisberger ended up on the reserve COVID-19 list. He will not be playing against the Detroit Lions. That changes the dynamic of this contest quite a lot. And some of us in our pick'em are now much more open to the Lions winning against the Pittsburgh Steelers thanks to Big Ben's absence.
I was always picking the Lions. The Lions.
You were always doing it.
The Lions have let me down so many times by 1 or 2 points. I'm just going to keep picking them until they prove me right. And then I'm going to stop picking them, and they're going to keep winning, and I'm never going to know what to do with myself.
So basically, this is your best chance to be right, is what it sounds like.
You're exactly correct, yes.
I mean, it looks like Mason Rudolph's going to get the start, so we'll see. Hopefully, Romeo Core and him don't get into it. He doesn't get smacked on the head with a helmet or anything like that. But it does definitely even the playing field a lot. But I still see your boy, Kelcey, Najee Harris in the back. I don't know how the Lions are going to contain him. They haven't exactly been the most stout run defense, and at the same time, Najee Harris getting involved in the passing game. He looks like rookie Alvin Kamara at this point. So we'll see. It definitely evens the playing field a whole lot, but I'm very curious to see what the Lions plan, how their game plan changes now that it's not a seasoned veteran back there. It is instead Mason Rudolph or maybe Dwayne Haskins if he gets back from the club in time for kickoff.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to wait and see. He still has another couple hours, though.
There's time. Like maybe he could dust himself off, wipe off the glitter, and get out there.
He's got a little bit. He might have found an extra 20 in his pocket, so slow down.
Extra hundo or two.
You know, got to work it out of your system, man. You can't go in like you can't go in feeling a little off. You gotta be ready to go.
You might get thrust into action pretty quickly if Mason Rudolph starts struggling. So you got to be loose and ready to go.
Right.
Well, don't worry, he's done plenty of thrusting tonight. Well, last night.
And I'm curious how Jared Goff's going to deal with T.J. Watt, Cameron Hayward in that front seven as well. Because besides Penei Sewell, the rest of that offensive line, there's some work to be done. Frank Ragnow's really nice, but I don't know. We'll see. I'm really curious to see how they hold up too. Because none of those receivers you can really trust to consistently win one-on-one. So I feel like Pittsburgh is like, you know what? We're sending 8. Good luck, guys, on the outside. Have fun. T.J. Hawkinson, just don't let him go ballistic.
Yeah, well, you gotta be able to contain the Lions, at least like you're saying. Hawkinson, you know, DeAndre Swift will be a factor. Same goes for Jamal Williams. They're going to be your main pieces. But really, it's Roethlisberger's absence is what, you know, it just kind of surprises me. You know, COVID, that's just how it is. It kind of sneaks up. Things happen. Unless you're Aaron Rodgers and the Packers and you try and, you know, finagle your way to not talking about it or trying to almost, I'm going to say it, cover it up, if you will, you know, until it's the last moment, you know, when a test actually reveals something or of an unvaccinated player. I'm just saying like that's how it came off to me. But he is back in this week. And guess who's also back from his ridiculous finger injury that he had against the LA Rams? Mr. Russell Wilson will be playing this week. So we're going to get another, hopefully a better matchup than recent ones when it's been Russell versus Rodgers. Rodgers has been able to, I don't know if it's just like vengeance from games past of getting screwed over, but the Packers have had their way with the Seattle Seahawks in recent contests thoroughly at times.
I'm curious to see how they both bounce back. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers has taken the almost 2 weeks being isolated, having the DT meetings. Curious how he bounces back from that. And, you know, Russ, we've seen him in the pregame warmups, literally taking snaps and running around with the ball, but not actually participating, just kind of going through the motions in the most almost silly looking way possible. So, you know, Russ is going to be ready to go. He's ready to sling that thing all over the field. And maybe find DK Metcalf for 50, maybe find Tyler Lockett a few times. I expect him to start the play with the bomb within the first 2 plays. I think they're both going to be ready to go.
Yeah, look, I mean, Russ coming back is he's been itching to throw a bomb to DK. Definitely not Tyler Lockett, but definitely a bomb to DK once in a while.
Going right at me, why don't you?
Yeah, you know I can, DJ. Don't worry, sorry. But this Aaron Rodgers thing is a little bit. This is gonna be interesting seeing when he comes back. Obviously, Bakhtiari also with the return last week. He's now back in the lineup. This will be the first time Aaron Rodgers had Bakhtiari since the playoffs last season as well. And I think there's an aspect to this that you got to kind of look at, like Aaron Rodgers coming off of the COVID and everything else. Anytime there's media involved in an Aaron Rodgers story, it seems like he comes out ready to play the next game. And it's going to be how much is Russ ready to play and how much can that running game help offset whatever rustiness might be on Russ as well. Because there's no rustiness on Aaron Rodgers. He's probably just been hanging out, doing his normal hippie routine before the game, and then like he didn't play last week, so he was just like probably just hanging out, talking to Pat McAfee, and then just doing his own thing. So he's ready to go. But Russ has been out for quite a little while, and all this the pregame fun, it doesn't mean anything when you don't throw a football.
So you're saying is Danger Russ rusty is what the question is?
Yeah, Danger Russ rusty. Yeah.
Okay, all right, we'll see. Do you think if he is not rusty, do you think that changes the dynamic a little bit?
I mean, I picked the Seahawks, so that should tell you something.
So you're counting on him not being rusty. You think those pregame routines actually might have paid off?
I was trying to, just to pull the whole swerve on this one, but this is look.
Look, if you're driving that scooter while we're running, I'm not gonna let you swerve into us. Like no swerving here.
No, yeah, this is gonna be interesting to see. Honestly, I do think Russ is. We're gonna see the Russ that we all wanted to see all season, that we thought we'd see, like we saw at the beginning of last season. That Russ where that was like, yeah, we're that good of a team. Like I think we're gonna see that Russ again before he fell in love with the let me chuck it up 60 yards.
So you're saying we're going to see week 1 Russ that we have not seen since then?
Yes.
Okay, well, that's the case. Good luck, everybody else.
Yeah. There's going to be no bombs to Tyler Lockett needed. It's going to be all 10 yards, 5-yard dunks.
Just do what they did with Tyler Lockett against the Jaguars, where he had like 13 catches for 100+ yards. That's perfect for him. And then DK is suddenly wide open or one-on-one with a 5'4" guy down the field. It's like, oh, well, this got a whole lot easier than trying to throw it through 4 safeties.
Basically.
It does that.
It's
a simple game football.
Yeah, exactly.
Just get a bit of pressure. That's it. I'm banking that Russ is rusty on that. That game's not in our pick 'em at least for this show, but I definitely am banking on the rust aspect, the time away, if you will. That will definitely deter
the rusty Russ.
The rusty Russ. That sounds horrible. That sounds like some paraphernalia of some kind.
Funny, a future Ciara song, maybe all the same.
All right, I'm going to steer you guys back on track. Now we're going to get back into this first quarter. Now we're starting to veering off track with these scooters again.
Oh God, going the wrong direction. Coming back here, like I said, we had this week was pretty packed with like news stories, pieces to kind of bring into the light. So kind of two of the ones that are more signing related. So first, we were waiting on to see what happens with Odell Beckham Jr. That's been a massive talking point. It was getting almost ridiculous because I was getting vibes of like, where's LeBron gonna go type of thing this week. And it happens. It's a big name, but I was like, I don't think it deserves that much publicity. He hasn't put it up that much in terms of this, but I digress. He landed with the Los Angeles Rams, who obviously don't need more things, but they did. And people, when this happened, they're like, some of us, at least in my camp, maybe you guys are thinking this, they're going, okay, he's going to a team that already has like two solid weapons. What's his role with this number 3 spot? Are they really going to push Robert Woods out of the fray? And then Robert Woods tears his ACL in a freak accident that week. Like it's some freaking I don't know. What do you call it?
Predetermined moment.
Message?
Odell Stradamus. Is that what
There
we're
you
calling
go.
now? Odell Stradamus, because he could see the future and knew what was in store.
Yeah. Or
You can do that.
maybe this is like some sort of what was the woman that did this, that was trying to attack the other girl in figure skating like back in the 90s?
Tara Lipinski? No, not Tara Lipinski.
No,
Oh God, I literally just watched this on Netflix,
because that's kind of what I'm thinking of. Like, what if Odell is like, I can't tolerate being number 3, and
let me go loosen this grass up on this team's field that I just signed with a day ago, just so one of the injuries happens. Like,
Side note: Odell Beckham Jr. future in landscaping and field maintenance. This was the first step.
Yeah, no, that'd be interesting. No, I gotta say, like, this is funny because DJ and I are talking about this on our podcast. Where does Odell end up going? And I jokingly is like, oh, it'd be really cool. Let's still go throw him with Matt Stafford and see what happens. And like, even DJ was like, dude, shut up. There's no chance that's gonna happen. Like, we didn't believe it was gonna actually happen, and then lo and behold, the news came out, and you're like, oh, crap again. Like, really? This is how we're doing it? And then it was like, okay, well, obviously he's going to slide in as number 3. You can't replace Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp. Like, you're going to replace Van Jefferson. Jefferson owners everywhere just sigh a deep sigh of content. They're just like, oh, great, this sucks. And then all of a sudden, next thing you know, oh, by the way, Robert Woods is gone. And you're like, well, okay, this is just not fair. We're going to see really how healthy Odell is for sure. I think real quick. If these shoulders were just kind of a thing to help him get out of Cleveland, then we're going to find out real fast when he puts up ungodly fantasy points this week.
I think they do play the 49ers on Monday night. It says he's good to go. He passed the physical, so it looks like the shoulders are more of a pain tolerance type thing as well, too. Not like it could get worse, but it's not really going to get better. You'll be fine sort of thing. You just probably won't be able to truck stick people. You can't do your Derrick Henry impersonation. You got to do your Odell Giants impersonation and juke everybody out of their shoes. Exactly. I don't think that'll still work out. I think that being said, now him sliding into that number 2 role, he's going to poop all over that 49ers defense because he's going to be put in a role where they're going to force feed him. If you remember the first week of the season, Sean McVay's first game against the Bears, he had Matthew Stafford. He lets Matthew Stafford uncork a 50-yard bomb on his first pass attempt on a deep post. He let Cooper Kupp go down the field multiple times and run all over the place. He likes to, when he gets a new piece, you can tell he likes to kind of flaunt them a little bit. He likes to show off, be like, yeah, this is why I did it. He did it with Stafford. He's done it with players in the past as well, too. I wouldn't be surprised if he does this with Odell, too. I'd look for Odell to probably get north of 10 targets and maybe like 7 or so receptions, maybe in the 80-yard mark, something along that side. I think they're going to force feed Odell a little bit just to kind of prove like, yeah, this is why we did it. And y'all must have forgot a little bit of best of both worlds. And the one thing about the Rams, they keep players happy. They have a very like player empowerment type locker room. And Jalen Ramsey spoke to when he got there as well, too. It's almost like a player's coach in basketball, how we talk about those ones in the NBA. It's kind of what Sean McVay's brought to LA and in the NFL. So I look for them to force feed Odell for better or for worse. But if he's good to go, I think it's going to be for better. And he's going to put on a show against 49ers defense. Him and Cooper Kupp are going to go absolutely ballistic, I believe, because I don't know how the 49ers are going to stop him.
To be fair, you mentioned the new toy. I mean, I love new pens, but my pens are like, 10 cents. I don't get to play with $14.5 million new pieces every 5 weeks like Sean McVay does.
You're also not Sean McVay. That's why you don't get to do that.
That's true.
I mean, who knows? Nobody's giving me an opportunity to be an OC anywhere. Next thing you know, a revolutionized 2 quarterbacks says, anyways, no, we're going to get off topic. But
look, all I'm going to tell you with this is the chemistry better show up quickly because all the talk the last few weeks was, well, me and Baker, we don't have chemistry or, or really more other people were being the mouthpiece for him for the most part going, we don't have chemistry. They just don't work together. Baker's terrible at finding me, so, okay, well, now you're number 2. No, you are number 2. I'm not even going to attempt to say number 1. That'd be the worst take of the week.
This Cooper Kupp slander will not be tolerated.
It's not because I love Cooper Kupp. I mean, dude has come out to another level, and I loved him even before he was at the top receiver point that he is this year. But here's the thing. Like many media pundits have said this over the last week, so you talk about the Fox crew, you talk about those at CBS. This is really his last legitimate, big stop. And they're trying to do a long-term deal, and they're trying to, get him to sign on for that if things work out. So, you need to catch on the fly really quick. You're given now a prime opportunity to do that, thanks to the fact that freak injury happened. I'm sorry for Robert Woods, really, because, dude has been an excellent cornerstone for the Rams ever since the Sean McVay era began. And now you're gonna have to see if Odell is worth your trade value, your 1-year deal, and if you are wanting to pay up some cash for it, and keep going with that Rams way of signing the stars to big checks. And I think right now I can't say enough. I hope that he catches on really quick. That's all I can tell you. Otherwise, if it's the chemistry is what everyone's going to be watching for. So it's going to be pretty obvious if in the first few weeks, if you're going to be seeing the same problems where it's like maybe a ball is missed a little wide, or maybe he's just not involved in the offense, and it comes the Cooper Kupp show. To me, that's red flags after a few weeks in this point.
I'll see the one thing that's going to be neat is we know Robert Woods got a lot of those like motion jet sweeps underneath as well too. That Sean McVay loves to run the motion to try and just get defense thinking. That's going to be Odell now. We've seen what Odell did last year when he got an end around against the Cowboys. He got that 50-yard touchdown run where he ran 40 yards backwards to juke at a defensive end, then cranked it upfield. That's going to give you a different element than what even Robert Woods can provide on those type of jet sweeps and end around. So I think he's going to get involved, even if it's just like that early on. Let's see the ball go in the net, to use that basketball phrase. He's gonna get plenty of opportunities to put the ball in the net. So we'll see how healthy he is. I think that's the biggest thing, as Kelcey mentioned. If his shoulders are good, well, my preseason Rams pick's looking really good right now. I'm feeling pretty comfortable about that because I think Odell's gonna thrive in this offense.
You, sir, are not wrong. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for quarter number 2. It is DJ's best bets. This is the time of the show where DJ basically decides to make us sit on the sidelines and maybe put in some points later, because this guy just has it wrapped and up in the bag, if you will. He's got all your details on what you should be looking out for week 10. And we're talking money lines, over-unders, you name it, he's got it. DJ, this is your time of the show. Let's get it going.
Well, don't forget about some other bets too. I mean, you missed the entire title. There's other bets in here too, but we'll get it started. First one, looking at the spreads. Dallas -8 over Atlanta. I'm not saying that Atlanta's going to win, but look for them to at least cover that spread. There's no Randy Gregory for Dallas, who's been a sensational defensive end for him. Still no DeMarcus Lawrence. Micah Parsons will probably have to supplement some of that at defensive end, which means who's going to guard Kyle Pitts over the middle? Are you going to put Leighton Vander Esch on him? Kyle's going to toast him. Maybe we get the Jabril Cox sighting I've been asking for all season, but even that's a tall task to have him deal with Kyle Pitts. And the offense has to get back on the same page, and Atlanta's been clicking. So I'm not saying that Atlanta will win, because we've seen every time they get a big lead on Dallas, they blow it. But I think it's going to be close and be within that 8-point spread. So look for it to at least be maybe a 21-24-ish, something in that area. I don't think Dallas is going to absolutely run rap shot through him, considering the trajectories, the momentum, and the reason Dallas has been so good is Randy Gregory has been sensational coming off the edge, helping the back end and giving guys like Trayvon Diggs the opportunity to pounce on those underneath routes. And if you do put all their resources on Kyle Pitts with your linebackers, well, there's that man Cordell Patterson who's been wreaking absolute havoc on all linebackers for the last 5, 6, 7 weeks. So look for that one as well too. I think it's going to be a close one in that regard. I think Dallas will still probably win, but I think it'll be close. And then Steelers -6 over the Lions. Obviously, this seems to be even after the Big Ben being out thing came. I don't see the Steelers running away from it. I talked about maybe Najee Harris being the difference, and he could maybe pull you to the win in the defense, but that doesn't equate to a 6-point spread necessarily. So this is the same thing. Look for it to be really, really close. Maybe at 17-20, something. I imagine this one's not going to be ballistic. I think Steelers are literally just going to run Najee Harris and give him the ball 35 times and keep it close. And I think the Lions on offense, they're going to struggle blocking the likes of TJ Watt, Cameron Hayward, Devin Bush, the entire squad. So look for that one to be a relatively close game. Still taking the Steelers to win, but I think it's going to be really, really close. Personally, I know Kelcey's leaning towards the Lions this week, as he is every week. So look for this one to be very, very close as well. Always at all. And then jumping into our money lines as well, too. The money lines, I didn't have a whole lot that I liked. The one that stuck out was Kansas City only -146 favorite over Vegas. Whether you like Vegas or you like Kansas City, those odds are really, really close. It's virtually a pick 'em. If you like the Raiders, you have a chance to win a little bit without betting quite as much. If you like Kansas City, you bet a decent amount and you get it. Probably the most back you'll get betting on Kansas City in the last 3 years, it feels like, considering they're perpetually -500 favorites or something along those lines. -146, I think they get that because they're Kansas City. If their name wasn't Kansas City, anywhere else, it's a pick 'em. So I think that one's a really interesting, close one where whatever side you like, I think you'll be okay with. Now we're going to slide on into the over-unders. This is where it's a really fun week. I actually have a few for this one. We're going to start with that Seattle's versus Packers game we mentioned. 49.5. Yeah, I'm definitely taking the over on that one. Crank that bad boy up. This game has like 35-31 written all over it. You have the two of the top 4 or 5 elite quarterbacks, both with something to prove. Aaron Rodgers, as Kelcey mentioned, the media thing coming off of COVID, getting to play with Devonta Adams for the first time in a month. He's going to come out with something to prove. Yeah, Russell Wilson has been out for 6 weeks with a finger injury, coming back with something to prove as well too. He wants to get DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett involved. He still thinks they have a shot at the playoffs. They're kind of on the outside looking in. And he gets to make a point now. All right, you struggle with Geno Smith. Look what happens when I come back into the lineup. So you're going to get both motivated elite quarterbacks. And, of course, the big factor, too, is 2 mediocre defenses, how I will say this to be polite. They are not very good. Jamal Adams is a great playmaker, but you can literally hit him in the face with the ball, and he's not going to intercept it. Bobby Wagner is one of the best linebackers we've ever seen in the history of the game. He's a tackling machine still, but in coverage, he's a step slower. He's still fantastic, but he's not quite the same as what you'd say 3 years ago with Bobby Wagner, where he completely owned the middle of the field. Quandre Diggs is very nice. The corners, good luck with Devontae Adams out there. We'll leave it at that, basically. And then Aaron Jones out of the backfield. And then looking at do I need to say much about the Packers defense? I mean, you don't have Yair Alexander. You don't have Zadarius Smith. Kenny Clark was banged up last week against Kansas City. Like, okay, good. Kevin King, you go deal with DK Metcalf. Eric Stokes, if you were even healthy this week, you go deal with Tyler Lockett. I mean, it's going to be, I imagine this is going to be a little slow first quarter. Then we're going to see bombs away after that. So look for both of them to bounce back. Now to the other over-under that sticks out to me. Rams versus 49ers, also at 49.5. Crank that bad boy up to 11 as well to take the over on that one. The Rams not only have a lot to prove after the Titans beat the brakes off of them last week. You got Odell coming back, but it doesn't sound like Vaughn's going to come back. But if he is able to even get on a snap count, they're going to try and make a point with Vaughn and Aaron Donald. All right, good luck, everybody else. We're coming off the edges now. But even if not, we mentioned everything with Odell. They're going to get him going. They're going to get Cooper Kupp going. Sean McVay always likes to make a point with this. So look for, even if this is a complete blowout, like 35-17, it's still covering the spread. So look for it to take the over, because either it's somehow a high-scoring back-and-forth game because the 49ers get it together. Jimmy Garoppolo plays one of his vintage good games, and Brandon Ayuk gets involved, which won't happen. Deebo Samuel goes ballistic. Or the Rams beat the brakes off and almost cover the spread by themselves. So I think that's how I honestly look at it. I think it's going to be closer to the latter. I think the Rams are going to put on an absolute show this week. And then the last one, going back to the Raiders and the Chiefs, 52 points is the over-under in that one. I'm actually taking the under on that one. Both teams are struggling a little bit. Kansas City's offense has not been Kansas City's offense. I mean, the kingdom is in chaos right now. The Raiders, they're struggling a little bit with those off-the-field issues we mentioned last week against the Giants. The offense has sputtered just a little bit. I think they're going to be more dependent on Josh Jacobs, wrong Jacobs. That Brandon Jacobs would change things a whole lot if they had him.
A lot of Jacobs around the league.
Exactly.
We understand.
Exactly. Josh Jacobs, Kenyon Drake, Darren Waller, Hunter Renfrow. I think they're going to play a little more ball control, make the Chiefs a little uneasy. That defense is not very good. I think it's going to be a really close type of game, maybe in the 27-21 mold. So it's still under 52, even if it's close. And the Chiefs offensive line, even though it's rebuilt, they have struggled in pass protection, especially the tackles. I mean, you have Yannick Ngakoue and Max Crosby coming into town. You have Mad Max and Yannick. Good luck, especially Brown, who's struggled a little bit with the speed rushers, especially the guys that just had that incredible first step, because Brown's a big guy. He's used to mauling. Now you have him on the left tackle against that speed, and Patrick Mahomes kind of sometimes looking to make extra plays in the backfield, not really always sliding up into the pocket, usually trying to sweet feet his way through like he's sliding on ketchup. And so we'll see what they can do with that. But I'm a little nervous that both offenses aren't really going to get a whole lot going. It's going to be a really close game. So the over-unders this week are really, really fun. I like them a lot this week, but that's what I'm feeling for the betting lines across the board.
Yeah, I'm kind of getting the same vibe with you. There's definitely a few that, a lot more feels this week than maybe last few, that it's like, okay, these are some that we could probably say there's routes to have in terms of like over under, or kind of the spread that I could see this going completely different than what like Vegas has. Mine I'm referencing are from Caesar Sportsbook, by the way, when I talk about this too. So like for example, the one that sticks out, there's two that stick out to me instantly. I'm going to go Buccaneers, Washington. I actually think that's going to be an under if I'm going to do the over-under section of that, mainly because I just think the Bucs are going to harass Taylor Heineke and company, and they're just going to really limit any production. Meanwhile, Tampa Bay on the other side, I mean, what are you going to do to stop them? You have Tom Brady playing at his best ever, which is insane to think about at his age, and honestly, the Washington's been sputtering a little bit too. Defensively, it is their strength, but it has not been able to show up in recent weeks. And I think even if you want to argue that the defense shows up to play, I think that offensively they are inept enough to where they're just going to turn over the ball and make this easy scoring for the Bucs. Kind of like how they did it to Chicago, where it was like quick turnovers, quick scores, and they run away with it. I'm thinking that the Bucs get their portion of that, but the Washington will fail in its own right to cover that, or to be the over, if you will. And yeah, like money lines, it's funny, like DJ, that there's really nothing I would go on with the money line section besides KC and Oakland. Like that's the only one where I'm like, okay, that one's pretty evenly, like the upset's plausible, and I could get a somewhat of an all right profit off of that if I got the Raiders off it. But I don't see it as that. So I don't feel any of those I'd be confident with either. And I think also another one, Lions Steelers, that's an under, I think. I don't even think they hit close to 40. I think it's going to be something like closer to like under 30 points you're going to see scored there, where I think the Steelers pull it off, but just my 2 cents.
So you're seeing another 9-6 type game, or some random like 11-12 or something.
I'm so glad
13-10. We'll do it that way.
I'm so glad you said the 9-6 game, because last week was the first time we had 2 double-digit favorites lose.
Oh
That was the
yeah.
Cowboys and the Bills. By the way, the
Yeah.
Bills another double-digit favorite while still being Super Bowl favorites by Vegas.
I
They're
think
just
they're going on a month now of double-digit favorites, if I'm not
yeah,
mistaken, because I think there's like 6 straight weeks where they're expected to be double-digit favorites. So good luck, Bills. Good luck
yeah.
matching up to those
Good
expectations.
luck.
Let's not forget they're going against the Jets, who, by the way, have a history this season of beating the spread with a +13 spread here. Obviously, why not take some of that action? I also want to look at the Cowboys I just mentioned, just lost as a double-digit favorite. Are they can they handle Atlanta, who I mean, it shouldn't be an issue, but can they? I don't know. But the one I'm looking at right now, Jags and Colts. The Jags, coming off that victory over the Bills, they always play the Colts tight. And I don't know, man. I feel like the Jags might have a chance at an upset here. It's a +60, 360 money line, 10-point spread, 47.5 over under. I might take the Jags on 2 of the 3 of these and then take the under on the other. And I don't see this being a high scoring game by any means, but I do think you have a chance to win some money on this game if the Colts decide they don't want to play up to snuff and you get another Carson Wentz shovel turnover, if you will. Because let's be honest, he has 3 of them this season, so it wouldn't be surprising to see a 4th.
I'd be banking on it.
Yeah, like, the odds are more in his favor to have another shovel turnover, like a shovel pass turnover.
Want to put down as a prop bet?
Yeah, like yeah. I mean, than it is for him to throw a touchdown to Ty at this point in time. Like he's done them at the exact same rate.
I will say if they were playing in Jacksonville, I'm definitely looking at Jacksonville. Like, take the upset. Colts would not be them in Jacksonville for like 6 years, it seems like. So I would say crank that one up to 1,000. Mo to bet the farm on that one. Since it's in Indy, that's why I avoided that one, because in theory they should win it in Indy comfortably. If it's in Jacksonville though, week 18, I think it is. Throw all the money at it. Throw the house at it too. Just go for it all. Count on tradition.
Also, shout out to my mom who just texted me and said I need to sleep more. Thanks, Mom. I know you're watching now. Thanks.
First time that's an upgrade. We'll take it.
So what's that saying? You look that bad on camera?
Look, Mom, you weren't a great window maker. I'm sorry. There's nothing I can do about it.
Damn, okay, we're sending shots at Mondo. But hey, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Kelcey's mom, for watching.
She knows it's all meant in love. That's all.
That's good.
Hey, gotta keep it lively in here.
Yeah, you got. Hey, how the world is. We gotta be happy. We gotta have a good time sometimes.
You're gonna be really happy and have a really good time if you follow these bets, because you're gonna make a lot of money. So
that's exactly right. Wait to tie it in, DJ. You know,
I'm here for the people.
He's thinking it's his segment, so he's on his game for this one. He any chance he gets,
Oh wait, hang on, sorry. Just so he can have any chance he gets.
Okay, he's getting his chance again.
Marinate in a little bit.
And then I'm in here for some reason.
Yeah, here we go. It should. You want to win money, right. You know what to do. It should be a fun week for betting. But I think that's going to take us into halftime as well too. I know it's Zach's favorite segment, so we get to see that video once again as well too.
Oh yes.
And then when we come back from half, by the way, guys, we will have a special guest with us joining us for the betting segment. So can't wait for that as well. So Zach, go ahead.
All right, it's gonna be a good one. Will we meet you back on the other side, watching everything except for the number 6 show up on our screen? We'll be here at 2:45 just in a minute. And we're back on the other side, and hey, we got a 4th screen on here today. It's been a while since we've had 4 screens active on here for 4th and 4, but special guest here today. As many of you may know, we have, our fantasy ins, outs, starts, and sits, and we thought we'd bring on someone that, talks this stuff quite often and pretty much for any given day of the week, it seems. It is Commissioner Cooper from TSS Fantasy, part of our group with Belly Up Sports, joining us. Hey, Commish, good to have you on here. How are things on your end, prepping for week 10?
Things are great. Appreciate inviting me into your studio. I had to change the scene a little bit over here. The kids are up, so chaos has officially begun in the Cooper home. But I just want a quick comment, Kelcey. your mom really should be telling you to turn your thermostat up, bro. We're like polar opposites right now.
Man,
Look at me.
you don't know how jealous I am right now. I'm looking at this beautiful setting behind you. I'm like, man, you're wearing a tank top, sun's out, guns out, like on the pool side. I'm a little jealous. I can't lie. Cleveland is not that warm right now.
Gotta love the Florida weather, indeed. Appreciate you guys having me on.
Was it that obvious that three of us were giving off like Midwestern, like northern vibes that bad?
I mean, Kelcey's
the icicles
got the
give it
hoodie
away.
on, even like it. The hoodie inside the house, bro. Woo, it's cold.
To be fair, it's a short sleeve hoodie, so it's like
Oh, he's bell
half and
checking it. He's ready for game day. Well, gentlemen, let's talk starts and sits. I actually want to hear from the commish here. What are you looking at in terms of week 10? Obviously we had the surprise with Big Ben, so that's probably going to throw a loop for some of those Steelers starters, if you will. I think even Claypool, I believe, is also out this week too. From what I saw, I had to make that roster change. Like, what are you looking at in this case? That game, I think, there's plenty of loops thrown at people. So some of the obvious ones might be out now.
Yeah. Talking about in that, if you want to go to that particular game, I do have a stardom for that particular matchup. And if you don't like Pat Freiermuth in that matchup, there's something wrong with you with Chase Claypool being out. And you just mentioned with Roethlisberger now with the COVID, you got Mason Rudolph in there. What are those backup QBs like to do? Find those big targets. So, and lately Pat Freiermuth has proven to be a consistent target and in the red zone. So again, I like him big time as far as a starter or a stardom this week in the tight end position. If you want to go by game, we can talk per game. I do have per position too. If you want to go that route, I'm ready for you either way.
Ooh.
Let you rock it out because
let it ride. Yeah, let's do it.
I need help. My fantasy team this last week has taken a hit, so I need help.
All right, that's cool. Well, first, if you want, you can always go to tssfantasy.com, see our current rankings that we have. I actually did update them finally for once for the weekend. All the crazy stuff that's gone on this week.
I may or may not have used that early in the season to steal some of your guys' waiver wire picks.
Sure, no, absolutely. That's what we're here for. I could now again. The reason I mentioned that is I could give you some obvious guys to start, the big guns. But let me give you some guys that maybe people are teetering on and not really sure about. Let me give you a start at quarterback. How about Derek Carr? 22 points in 3 of his last 4 games. I know he didn't have that great of a game last week. I'm sorry, not 3 out of his 4 3 of his last 4 home games. And last season he put up 27 and 29 points against the Chiefs. So to me, that's a big starter. Kelcey also averages 24.3 points to opposing fantasy quarterbacks. So to me, if you're looking to stream somebody this week, I got Derek Carr as a stardom for you this week.
Ooh, I like that.
I like that. That's Kelcey's MVP, so I like it.
Yeah,
so
that's my midseason award MVP winner right now. So I'm loving that pick right now.
And not for nothing, I don't want to get on a big tangent, but with the Ruggs situation, my wife's a lawyer, so she was all over that, and I'm sitting here having a conversation with her, and she was kind of all over Derek Carr for a statement. And I'm like, listen, he's the leader of that team. I thought to me that was a huge statement, and he was right. At the end of the day, Ruggs still is a human being. He made a horrible, dumb mistake, which is, we could go on and on about how dumb it was. But at the same time, Derek Carr was showing to me leadership and saying, hey, we got to put our arms around this dude. This wasn't about football to him. It was about being a human being. To me, that just showed big leadership. Not to get on a big rant with that.
That's first and foremost most of the time, though, right? You gotta be a person first.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go to our sit-em for quarterbacks and for here. How about Kirk Cousins? He will not like that today. Indeed, the Chargers are number 4 versus opposing QBs. Last week, Cousins did have 25 points, but again, it was against the Ravens. I mean, that's why I'm kind of feeling the Miami feel today. Had a great game on Thursday night. So you saw what the Ravens defense was. I mean, it wasn't all that great. Also, he had a rush TD, which is not Kirk Cousins. So, take those 25, take 6 points off that. He's got 19, and he's been under 200 yards the last 2 weeks. So to me, it's a clear sit-em. Although now in that game, I do like Dalvin Cook a lot because the Chargers D, I believe, is 25th against opposing running backs. So just to note that as well.
Yeah, he's been burning me at times. He burned me at least in the last 2 weeks. I had to switch him out for Tom Brady being on bye. So that was painful. I also messed up on Ryan Tannehill. Bought too much into the pass heaviness. Damn it.
Yeah.
Didn't account
I'm all
for
about any Kirk
turnovers
Cousins
and like
hate today. By the way, give me all the Kirk Cousins hate because I still don't think the guy is the answer in Minnesota, and I will forever stand by that.
Here's a quick one out for you just to bounce off that. Do you think, since it's going to be a run-heavy offense, you imagine the Chargers are basically wet tissue paper against the run? Can you see Dalvin Cook and Alex Madison both getting involved to be where they're both viable? Like maybe Madison more as a flex-type player. Do you think he only gets burned because Dalvin Cook's hurt?
Oh, that's tough because this matchup to me, I feel game script's going to dictate that Kirk Cousins going to have to throw. The way Justin Herbert's been playing, I just don't see. I see what you're saying as far as if they're going to be run heavy, but unless they establish it early, say they need this coin flip. Let's put it that way. They need to get the ball first, establish the run game, get the time of possession going. That's the only way they're going to knock the Chargers on their heels, I think. So I don't see that per se, but, again, the gist of my show is everyone thinks they're an expert, but no one knows anything. We're just all guessing. As
a very up and down, hot and cold owner of Mike Williams, I hope that what you said just there happens in place where Justin Herbert's slinging it across the yard because Mike Williams he's jacked my blood pressure up so many times with just those 2 catch games.
Mike Williams is notorious for taking the nosedive the second half of the season, and it has already begun, my friend. So I'm sorry for you.
I had this coming. I deserve this.
So I'll go real quick to running backs, and again, if you want to, show me where to go, I'll do it. But I'm just going to go on and tell me if you need me to shut up. I'm good.
Hey, you're our fantasy expert. You're the guy we're going to talk fantasy.
Tell me more. I need some help too.
You're single-handedly beating all of us in our sleeper league. So,
all right. So a good start to me at running back today. 2 of them. You talked about Alex Madison and Dalvin Cook. I got 2 for you. How about Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon in a game today? If you looked up, now we did the show earlier, and what I read on NFLweather.com, I can call them out now, was just overcast. But I was just looking, and it looked like it was snowing already in Green Bay. So Here you have an overcast, cold day. Again, Aaron Jones. I like Alex Collins on the other side. Both defenses are not that great against the run. And here's the thing, though. If you want a sleeper, definitely A.J. Dillon. I don't know if you guys know this or not. I might be showing my age. But, when Lionel came out and pulled out the Thundercats and he called them out, it is time for Thunder Thighs today. A.J. Dillon in that cold environment. I'm telling you, it's all A.J. Dillon today. He's my big sleeper this week.
Thundercats actually extends years now. They just restarted. They just did the remake on Netflix. So now all the young kids caught up with the old reference finally. But I got you from the OGs. Like, yes,
it's still not as cool though. I peeped it myself. I'm just not feeling it. He's not that. I guess when back in the 80s, they always had that signature voice that sounded like, the hero, I'm in love. I mean, that was what we got out. We're not getting that nowadays.
Zach can do the voice. I don't think the rest of us had the pipes for that one. I think Zach has the voice down.
You put him on my spot.
I think he's putting on his spot.
Thunder. Thundercats. Oh!
There it is. Indeed. Hey, you guys said you wanted fun. I'm bringing it. Let's go.
Hey, we know our new intro from now on.
All right. So I have one fantasy question myself, just because it pertains to this week alone. So we aren't going to get Super Cam this week. He was joined a little late in the season into the kind of the workflow into week 10. So we're going to get PJ Walker. Now, Sam Darnold's been god awful. It's been a nosedive in his own right. Not even a Mike Williams nosedive. This has just been I don't know what the hell to do with myself anymore type of experience is what he looks like now. And he's out on IR. PJ Walker steps in. Now, what are you expecting, just because of how bad Darnold is, that maybe we can get a little more production out of, like, say, DJ Moore? Maybe, CMC is going to be, of course, healthy again, but, it's the Cardinals we're facing, one of the higher ranked defenses in the NFL, but a quarterback that I think at least is healthy and has a little more mobility and maybe can provide a slight better spark till Cam comes back next week.
It's a possibility. You're not wrong for in that wheelhouse, but again, you mentioned it. Arizona's D is really tough. So and again, it's a tough call for quarterback to come in and play well. However, we have seen it so far this season. I mean, it was a week or two ago. I can't remember now. the backup QB weekend. I mean, we saw everyone come in, had great games. Mike White, Josh Johnson even came in and had a good game. So it's definitely possible they could have he could have a good game. There's no film on him, so who knows? He might come out and have a huge game. You never know.
So, all right, I got one for you then. Who is your surprise? Who's going to be your surprise pick for the week? Like, who do you think is just going to have one heck of a week that nobody's really making on?
So, as far as okay. So to me, again, just going back, I talked about AJ Dillon. I don't think a lot of people are talking about him. So I'm sorry, my daughter's out here now. She's like, it's time to get out in the pool. It ain't time to playing around anymore.
I don't blame her. It is definitely time to get in the pool.
I'd be time to get in the pool. If it was warm here,
so, yeah,
I'd be doing the show from the pool at this point in time.
So there's some guy that I really do like today is Tyler Lockett, and I know a lot of people aren't talking about. He's the guy to me with Russell Wilson coming back. Tyler Lockett had some monster games with Russell Wilson, and again he's back now. Now the weather could play a factor, but what's cool about the weather factor is that those are those types of games where you get somebody going on a streak, you're not going to stop them because there's not much you can do to get to them. So if Tyler Lockett's moving forward and going fast, I think he's going to have a huge fantasy game. Could be the number 1 overall receiver this week.
I think sure you just made right. DJ's day.
Do you watch the show often? Because you played right into that hand.
I have suffered enough. Don't take this away from me, guys. Don't take this from me.
Give him his glory.
My team is the ultimate blood pressure spiking team. Mike Williams, Tyler Lockett. I could go on. Brandon Ayuk. My goodness, I've done this to myself. Let me have
seriously. You deserve every blood pressure moment you get. Why? How in the hell did you construct it with all those players that are designated for big hit plays most of the time?
It was a great first 2 weeks. I'll tell you what. That was fantastic.
It probably was.
To be fair, when DJ was on our show, he unfortunately fell short in our champs versus chumps segment. So now it's time to give him his payback. There you go.
I won the champs versus chumps, so I came in and won the what I played.
Yeah, it was. I got the no vote. I
spotted him a lead and still got the win.
You're right.
I forgot to put my dumbass of the week back on the board. I'm sorry. Instead it's close. It's I heart disappointment because as an Auburn fan, that's all I know is disappointment in my life.
Hey, listen,
Cowboys and an Auburn fan. All I know is disappointment.
I'm a Hurricanes and Dolphins fan, so trust me, bro. It's definitely tough sledding down here in South Florida for sure.
It was great in the '90s, right?
It sure was. I had my glory days. I
wish I remembered more of it.
Wish I had the means to go. Back then though, I was so didn't really appreciate it then. It was just like, they're just gonna be good all the time, man. No big deal. And same with Dan Marino, we're gonna be in the playoffs and the Super Bowl all the time. No big deal.
Little did we know.
Little did we know.
Awesome. Well, Commissioner, we obviously know where to find you, but you are on every Sunday morning or every Sunday to kick us off for Belly Up pregame. Go ahead and let everybody know what you guys are about, because obviously we know because we've been there. We've all been. I think we've all been on your show at least once now, and man, it has been a blast. So yeah, except for Zach. Yeah, Zach's got to get on there at some point.
Yeah, we're gonna get Zach on for sure. So we're TSS Fantasy. Our moniker is the fantasy show of the people, and we say that because we like to give back to you guys. We have lots of contests every week for tickets. I usually throw tickets out there, things like that. We love our interactions. We talked about it before about I talked about us doing games. We talked about that a minute ago. On our shows this week, our upcoming shows, we have games every night. So that's the one thing that we pride ourselves on is that, listen, there's a lot of fantasy shows out there, a lot of fantasy experts, but they're all guessing like all of us are, right, at the end of the day. So what we want to do is have you guys interact with us, have fun while you do your fantasy, study, so to speak, and come visit with us, come hang out with us, and come have fun. Again, yes, you're correct. Zach, I got to get you on. We do our Champs and Chumps segment. So I got to find you the right opponent. I don't want to keep you up with your boys. I want to find somebody different for you. This week, we actually have two of our podcasts, The Pesky Report and Rockin' at the Jake. The two Red Sox podcasts are going to go against each other. And then the following week, we have a couple of special guests. Matt Daddy is one of them, and a couple of guys from Twitter that have some pretty big shows. So we're trying to put that reaction in. On Fridays, we're now doing a Fantasy Family Feud, so you can check us out there as well. So lots of good stuff.
So what time do they catch you guys? Because you guys go live I believe every day.
Yeah,
right?
I'm sorry, my bad. I'm doing a bad job of plugging myself. All right, YouTube, check us out Monday, Tuesdays, and Fridays at 9:30. We go live on YouTube. You can always check us out on anywhere you catch your podcast as well. We do have our Wake Up with TSS as well. We do it twice. We do it from 7 to 8 a.m. and from 8 to 9 a.m. That's on YouTube, obviously, with our Wake Up with Belly Up lineup as well. Again, check us out on every social media. We're on there also. And again, anything on the Belly Up Sports Podcast Network, and of course, Unhinged Radio on to 8 to 9 a.m. Make us part of your morning commute, because we are the fantasy show of the people.
I love it. Nice job with Kelcey saving the ball.
I wanted to make sure he gave a time. I was like, everything else was spot on, but man, I like the time is like. That's the thing, I forget it every time I do it too, so I don't blame you.
Yeah, and the YouTube's kind of new to us, so I've done a bad job plugging the YouTube, to be honest with you, because we were such on the podcast before, so now, you're right, bro. I got to plug the YouTube. You're right, I got it.
Plug it all. You never know, right?
That's right.
Your mom could be watching and tell you need more sleep every time.
Hey, Commish, thanks for joining the show, man. Really appreciate
you guys. Insight. We got hey, listen, you guys got to wake up with us at some point. So maybe next week we'll have you guys on, get your asses up early, and let's get it started.
I don't sleep anyways, so we'll
shoot some DMs. Shoot some DMs. We'll be in talks.
All right,
in talks, okay?
Right. Your people talking to my people.
Yeah.
Wait, I am my people. Hold on now.
Kelcey, stop ruining the behind the scenes.
We're pretending here.
I only know disappointment. I'm sorry.
Fake it till you make it. That's what they say, right?
Awesome, Coach. We appreciate it, though, man. And that's going to take us to quarter 4 with our prime time pick'ems. That was absolutely fantastic with the commish. So, we appreciate it. And, Zach, I'm going to let you take this back away, man, because this is presented by Colorcast. You're getting your chance now. Yes, you're getting your chance now, and that's why I wanted to take this moment to take over for you and let you have a little bit of moment in the spotlight and tell the people what you're doing today.
Me? Oh, me? I shouldn't have. So I am going to finally get around and rip the Band-Aid off on doing a color cast. I will be doing the one for the evening contest between the Minnesota Vikings and the Los Angeles Chargers. I'm pretty excited. I've been wanting to use this app for a while. Obviously, if you're follow me on social media, you've seen that I've been dying for an Android version. Luckily, I got my hands on this shiny little used iPhone, thanks to YouTube, by the way. And so now I will be able to jump on. I'm going to be doing my first color cast here at 4:05 Eastern time on there. You can go to the Minnesota Vikings and Chargers tab on that app. I'm going to be registering myself here. I didn't do it yet, but I will be today. You'll see that I'm one of the casters scheduling. So I will be on there. You can jump on, help out the account, and let's have a good time. I'll give some co-casts, hopefully, and I'll even maybe try out giving someone a hot seat, and we'll figure it out from there. But please, let's jump on and check out my cast for the first one. Hopefully I will be doing more as we go down the line as I get more comfortable with doing it. So let's go. I'm excited today. It's going to be a great day. I can't wait to use it. I've been waiting so long.
Man, I'm excited for somebody else to jump on there and call games besides just DJ and I, because look, we love the app. We've grown a lot on Colorcast. That's why we want to give them a whole segment for our primetime pick'ems. Well, because we all are going to be calling one of these games.
Oh yeah,
so that's a whole lot of fun to look forward to as well. But here's where we are so far to this.
Another rough week.
Look at this, man.
Another rough week.
What happened? Can we get a pick'ems expert? Can we have a pick'ems expert in the house?
Yeah, what the hell?
DJ retired. Obviously, he's not. He doesn't care about our pick'em. He's going to win money now. Like,
you're all welcome.
We need a pick'em expert.
I specifically said, do not take my pick'ems to the sports book. I warned everybody so that I'm not held accountable for this.
You're starting to look like MLB records right now. It's just the way we have it. But my God, the last 2 weeks have just been slaughter for any one of us getting on here and saying, this is totally what's going to happen, guys. No.
To be fair, I've told people long ago how I pick my thing, pick everything. I try to do a backflip. I can do a backflip. I pick the favorite. If I can't do a backflip, I pick the underdog. Well, anybody knows me, I don't do backflips. So I kind of just flop on my bed and I just pick the underdog every time and see what happens.
I mean, you could try,
Yeah.
but I just don't want
Until
to
the
hurt
playoffs come
myself.
around, and then I actually try for the playoffs. But regular
Oh,
season,
no.
man, regular season doesn't care.
It's all about hanging in there and throwing everyone for a loop.
Yeah,
Do
it's no fun if that's not double for nothing for playoffs.
do the NBA's modern method. Sit the starters and then go like full balls to the wall as you hit the playoffs. You know what I'm
We
saying?
have mastered load management and pick 'em.
Year-long load management.
Career long.
Career-long load management.
Oh man.
All right, let's jump into this, folks. So we're going to kick off with the first of really the normal slate. That's going to be my game at 4:05 Eastern time on Colorcast. By the way, you should check out the first one of mine. And yeah, so we've we all think the Chargers here. Although the caveat with this is the Vikings have not been an easy out. They've made for a lot of entertaining games this season, so the possibility of an upset still is there. They just aren't finishers. They don't seem to fully seal the deal this season. The Chargers also have been cardiac at the time, so it kind of the chemistry there makes for one fascinating contest this weekend. It's just that the Vikings have been a little more unlucky.
I kind of want to go back and change my pick now that everybody picked the Chargers, and after hearing what Commissioner Cooper had to say, Dalvin Cook as a fantasy fit darling possibly this week.
Oh,
Can
yeah.
I go back and change my pick? Makes me wonder, but no, I think I like the Chargers are. I'm going to take DJ's thunder here probably because he's been a big proponent for the Chargers, and so he's finally talked me into just following in and just accepting the fact that the Chargers are going to be good, and there's nothing we can do to deny it, and they got to beat a team like the Vikings to get over that hump, really. So that's what I look at this game, and that's why I picked the Chargers. I think this is their moment to get over the hump.
Mm-hmm.
I look at them too, and I look at the Vikings defense. No Danielle Hunter. They've had Everson Griffin's your main pass rush guy. I mean, he's not going to get around Rashawn Slater very often. Kendricks is nice at linebacker, but he's not going to help you with Keenan Allen. He's not going to help you with Mike Williams. He might help you a little bit with Jared Cook, but he's not going to help with Austin Eckler. Like the best pieces for Minnesota's defense that are left aren't really conducive to stopping the best parts of the Chargers, and even vice versa. Then on offense, Dalvin Cook's going to get going. He's still probably going to get 26, 27 points, but you're going to be behind. I mean, still, he can have like 130 yards and you're down 27-17, and then you still have to air it out a little bit. And Joey Bosa's going to come roaring off the edge. You're going to have guys like Drew Tranquil as well over the middle who are going to make things congested for the guys like Adam Thielen, KJ Osborne, and Derwin James over the top, the best safety in the game. Like, there's too many X factors on this Chargers team, even though they struggle mightily against the run for some reason. I don't know why they just can't seem to stop the runs, even with so much defensive talent. I think they're going to be fine. I think the Chargers are going to walk away with this. You mentioned it, and the Vikings too. Have you guys seen the movie Sex Drive? Those guys that are immediately are shooting game right away, but as soon as someone says yes, they have absolutely no idea what to do. That's literally the Vikings. Like they'll jump out 17-3, but then when you have to end the game, they just fall apart. That's literally who they are at 2AT. So that's how I think this one's going to go. Is maybe the Vikings take a quick lead, but I think the Chargers are going to be right there the whole time.
But who's the one that turns into the Amish guy?
That one's a different team in the NFL. We'll have to get to that one at some point.
All right.
Like those are two different characters. Like,
is that the Buffalo Bills when they have a double-digit spread to cover?
That works too. I mean, I'm sure we can apply characters to each sort of thing as we go along, but neither one of them for this one as well.
Maybe. Hey, look, if you're a Ravens fan, or really if you're a Vikings fan this week watching the Ravens just eat it against the Dolphins, you're pulling your hair out because it's just that time of year. We were up 14 points and we lost to this. My God.
We're up 28-3 and we give up 40 unanswered.
Oh, here we go. Now we're going off the Auburn rails.
I'm stopping there. I'm stopping there. I'm just giving examples of that time of a year. It's that time of year where upsets are abundant.
Yeah. Last week was definitely abundant. I mean, all those number one in the division's taken a fat L everywhere, which of course attribute to our terrible pick 'em this week because you don't see it happen often. So just saying. Moving on down the docket, let's do the divisional match. Well, there's two of them. I was about to say let's be clever. I was like let's be clever. I'm like let's not be clever. Let's do the West. Damn it, that also is not clever. Let's do the AFC West divisional matchup. Jesus Christ, the fact that lined up that way, you just can't make this crap up sometimes. But here we are. We got the Raiders and the Chiefs. Okay, so this ain't your few years ago Chiefs right now. Some sort of funk has come over this squad. They're still in the thick of it, of course. Raiders slip ups, Chargers slip ups. somehow the Broncos are still there because they got an upset win over the Cowboys. But the Chiefs are going to be, they'll be hosting a Raiders team that, dear God, thank God they've had some time to not have something happen in recent days, because that has been a theme of the season and nobody wants that whatsoever. But here we are. We're split decision across the board.
Yeah.
Well,
we're not. We're the three of us seem to have a very
our squad.
wholehearted
Come on,
opinion.
our squad. I gotta talk the whole group. Just because three of us are on here doesn't mean.
Well, look, the one that scares me is the fact Hector is the only one that picked the Raiders that I'm actually concerned about beating and running away with this whole pick'em thing. So, Hector, I need to know why you picked the Raiders, or why you didn't pick the Raiders, because whatever secret stuff that he is drinking, whatever Mike's secret stuff he is pulling out of the water fountain to go and beat the Monstars at the end of the season, like I need sip. I need something to get in my pick'em game going, because I need to get the football guys' knowledge. And this is I'm more worried that Hector's picking them, because that makes me think that the Chiefs are just gonna walk away with this one.
I mean, maybe they do. The Raiders have been getting closer and have gotten upset victories in years past. So, they're obviously figuring it out. Derek Carr, as you're saying, to me, he's playing at MVP level right now.
Oh, absolutely.
And had a slip up last week, some terrible passes, but a Giants defense that somehow has now come to play all of a sudden. So good for them too. This is the same one that also slowed down Mahomes and company, and they held them and almost defeat the Chiefs 17-14 if it wasn't for one, excellent drive to end that contest. So think about that. I don't know.
I think the winner of this one has a shot moving forward, and the loser is like, shoot, it's gonna be a big of a bugaboo. We'll see. You kind of have, this almost feels like a must win at a 5-4 point in the season as well too. And we'll see if Patrick Mahomes and the offense can get things going. I still stand by. I think those edge rushers for the Raiders are going to cause a little bit of problems, because the Chiefs still have not been able to stop edge rushers, even with that rebuilt offensive line. Mm-hmm. And that defense is still wet tissue paper. What they could easily get 200+ yard rushers on that. I feel like it's going to be a really, really slow type of game, if that makes sense. I think the Raiders are going to hold a lot of it. Then the Chiefs are going to try and hold the ball a lot. And I think it's just going to be a back and forth, very dink and dunk, weird type game, considering the absolute shootouts they had last year.
Wondering if Deshaun Jackson will have any factor in this, getting a speedster to fill in for Ruggs, of course, unfortunate departure there.
Speedster versus speedster, Tyreek Hill versus Deshaun Jackson. How many 50-yard touchdown passes can we have in one game?
It'll then be like a style points. It'll be a style points contest then between the quarterbacks. Like, who's going to the most awkward 50-yard bomb?
Deshaun wins. Deshaun wins the most. If it's going to be a style contest, have you seen the way he fell into end zones?
Well, I know how he
brings the ball with him and doesn't. As long
as he brings it with him.
Yeah.
And Tariq, you can have the glove, but it's not the same as doing actual fingers for see you later. The magic's gone. It's on a palm now.
Maybe that's what it is. That's why the Chiefs are struggling. That's the real reason. It's not Jackson Mahomes' fault after all. It's Tyreek not being able to do the peace sign out properly.
The NFL nerfed the magic. All right, guys, last matchup here as we wrap things up here for today. Another sweep across the board as we're talking on another primetime game. Again, both these contests for these primetimes, high-low crew of DJ and Kelcey here, who I don't know why I said that awkwardly, they will be color casting this.
Sorry, nobody's not.
Those two will be these gentlemen here will be color casting both of these primetime contests for this weekend. So catch those color casts as well. And we swept across the board. Look, it's OBJ's game that he's going to be playing, and kind of everyone's going to be talking about it. His departure from Cleveland. He's now going to be the definitive number 2, like we were talking about in the quarter number 1. A lot of hype, but like the Rams, they're just on a different level and they're ready to go and win a Super Bowl and maybe distract everyone from the fact that they're failing miserably in the St. Louis court case. So this could be a 2-pronged thing that they're attacking right now.
They got to win some money to pay St. Louis.
That's true.
Absolutely. And throw on top of that, too, the 49ers are a mess. Shanahan's kind of losing grip a little bit in that place, and that team's kind of an absolute mess. Unless Deebo Samuel gets you 180 yards, they don't have a whole lot going for them right now as well. So factor it all in at once. It's an absolute avalanche of Rams should run away with this.
I always ask if teams are starting to have injury issues consistently, which the 49ers seem to be this way under Shanahan. What are you doing in that building? That I'm gonna keep asking it until we see another healthy season like it was 2019. What are you doing in that facility that is causing a medical wagon to show up every offseason?
Trial by combat to determine the starters.
Philadelphia, I'm looking at you too, because this happens all the time over there as well. Although that could just be the city beating up on its players. I don't know.
Washington Stadium, FedEx Field.
It could be. All right, folks, that's going to do it for 4th and 4. Catch us on social media at 4th and 4. Follow Belly Up Sports on its own social media on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Also, subscribe to us on YouTube on Unhinged Radio and at Belly Up as well. I think that covered everything.
And be sure to follow us on Twitter for all updates on Colorcast now that Zach's on the Colorcast app as well. That way you guys can follow him on Colorcast and get the notifications when he goes live.
And check our Colorcast out today. See you later, folks. Bye.